In case anything. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You gonna get it going. We got Shane in the building. We'll get right back to it, y'all. Right back to it. We been having a goodie. So we ain't gonna waste no time, man. We got Mr. MVP up in here. Let's get him in here. Yes, sir. Yo.
Yo, my dog.
What's poppin'? You over there looking tired as hell.
I'm chilling, bro.
Hey, my Miami life is rough, huh?
Huh?
So Miami life is rough, huh?
It's alright.
Especially on downtime.
It's alright.
I already know. What you been doing to keep busy, bro?
Chilling, bro. I was, on my workout vibes, but season over now, so I've been chilling for real.
Okay, so you kind of try to use a little bit of time, just kind of, mingle with the fam and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole quarantine, I had my fam with me for the most part. My sister was here, my brother was here, so, we've been together the whole time, but since the end of the season, we really just been chilling for real.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So let's get into it, man, because, there's a lot of people want to know, especially, making all your transitions you did from high school to all the way to college, then, to the NBA level and overseas, So we got a lot to talk about, but first I want you to start with just telling the people a little bit about your childhood growing up. When the ball was first placed into your hand. Like who inspired you to first play the game.
I mean, I had a ball forever, ever since I was a little kid. My dad, he played baseball, but he gave me all the opportunities to choose whatever sport I wanted to play. So from a young child, bro, I loved basketball. I was always playing basketball at the crib. I was always on U teams, AAU, travel ball, all that. And I played some other sports here and there, but for the most part, basketball is always the sport that I love the most. That's why
Yeah, facts. So you remember like like that young age, you first time being a part of an organization like AAU team and stuff. So what was that feeling the first time walking in, being a part of an organized basketball team? Was it nerve wracking? You think you wasn't gonna be good enough, like, or what was that like?
I mean, I had a pretty solid squad. I mean, we weren't playing at first. I wasn't playing like big tournaments outside of the state of Florida. I was playing in Florida for the most part, just little tournaments around the state. But then as I got older, like 10, 11, 12, then I started traveling a little bit more outside of Florida, and then I really started seeing all the talent that there was in the world. To me, when I was a little kid, I'm like, all right, if I'm
Yeah,
playing,
facts.
that's that. But then you start playing against dudes from LA, New York, Carolina, all these other places, and you're like, oh, I guess a lot of talent out here. So, it was always nerve-wracking walking into a gym, not knowing who you're going to be playing against. But, I mean, that's a part of the reason why you love it, too, because you always end up playing in a competitive atmosphere.
Yeah, facts, man. So, you obviously, I know you played a little bit of AAU. During AAU, you played with, players like Austin Rivers. Just talk a little about that, because, before you was, recruited to college or whatever, I want to say you had the biggest school. So just talk a little bit about how, like, at that time, you were the underdog. High school, you were the underdog. You know what I mean? And just talk about, your thought process at that time.
I mean, I feel like if you're not in one of those big cities or big states that plays basketball, New York or Carolina, Georgia, LA, if you're not in one of those like basketball states, you don't really get as much respect as states. And Florida's a football state. You were down here.
Facts, yeah.
It's all about football down here. So, I mean, if you're good at basketball, you have a chance, to be one of the top ranked kids. And it's been changing, but back when I was in high school, it was all football. I think Austin was the only one ranked in the top 100 from Orlando. My senior year coming out, I wasn't top 100 on ESPN, none of that. So, I always used that as motivation to, whenever I played against one of these guys I was ranked in front of me, I used it as motivation to just go out there and, go that hard. So, it was a good thing, but I just feel like being in Florida, you always get, overlooked playing basketball, at least as it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, facts, facts. So like, during that young age, AAU in high school, like, a lot of coaches doing a lot of recruiting at that time. Can you remember when you was being recruited by Coach Larinaga? Like, do you remember the game you played in front of Coach Larinaga?
I mean, I played in front of Coach Larkin many times, but at that time he was at George Mason still.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, I was playing in front of Coach Larkin, and at the time, you get excited to see a Miami, you get excited to see a Duke, Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
like a big ACC school or a big, Big East school. You get excited for them. But I saw George Mason over there, and although I had a great relationship with the coach,
Mm-hmm.
that it never really motivated me to go to a mid-major school because I didn't feel like I would be challenging myself as much as I should be. So, it was always cool seeing him at the games. It would be him. Concord would be there. Computer would be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All
Shout
the
out to
guys
those
down
dudes.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they would always come to the games, but if he had never or if he had never left George Mason, I probably never would have got the opportunity to play for him. So, my whole committing to college situation was a wild situation, but I ended up playing for him and it all worked out. So
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. So like during that time before you actually committed to University of Miami, like just tell people like, what was your like school during that time?
I mean I took 5 official visits. I went to George Mason. I went to Colorado. I went to USF. I went to
Mm-hmm.
DePaul. And where else did I? Went to Boston College.
Okay.
So it was a
So a
lot
lot of
of
those, there was a lot of Florida schools, so a lot of home schools kind of
yeah,
looked at
yeah,
you. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. So, obviously, you now make that, I'll say, scareful decision to, because, it was a little, like you said, it was a little tricky with a coach going from one school to another, being recruited by a school you didn't really plan to go to, a whole different set of players, there's so many things to tie into that. So now you officially commit to University of Miami. I want you to talk about your freshman year. What was that
Um,
like, that transition?
I mean, so when I transferred over in the summer, I came from DePaul.
Okay.
So I was thinking originally that I was gonna have to sit out a year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I was going through practices and stuff early on. If you remember, very early on, I was playing with like
I
Justin,
remember it all.
Quick Tar. Like I was. They was thinking I was gonna have to be on that redshirt year
Yeah.
because of the transfer. So freshman year started off, it was difficult because I didn't know if I was gonna play. But then I got the medical waiver to play,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was different because I feel like everybody had such a good connection there, and I kind of came in late. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
like kind of weird trying to get in good with everybody. So I wasn't trying to overstep. You was there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everybody knew about you. Malcolm was there. We had a bunch of seniors, and I just came in trying to fit in for real. I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna get these guys to like me. They've been here, they've had success, so I'm just gonna try to fit in where I fit in. And I mean, eventually, I ended up starting towards the end of the year, and then it ended up pretty solid. And then going into my sophomore year is when I really felt comfortable. But
Yeah. Yeah,
freshman
that's
year was
what I want to
definitely
talk about too, because I felt like between your freshman and sophomore year, you made like a jump. So I just want to know like what gave you that confidence that like was it coaching, was it playing, was it people doubting you? Like what was it that made you kind of help you have the season you had? I'll say.
I mean, I think it was the players for real. I think coming in as a freshman, everybody accepted me. I had some games my freshman year with people who was looking to get me involved, and the other times I was letting people go. But then
Mm.
that next year, coming into the summer, none of us went home after freshman year. We all went home for a little bit, but then we committed ourselves that summer to being there. I mean, a lot of people were
Yeah.
going into
Yeah,
their
I
last
remember that.
year, so people was like, "Yo, let's make our last year our best year." So I didn't even really go home like that. And then just being comfortable with everybody. I knew I had started towards the end of next year. I was gonna go into the next year starting. I had a better relationship with all my teammates. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
better understood what they wanted, where they liked the ball, what they like to do, and then they started understanding me as well. And then I think just that chemistry alone. Obviously, coaches put us in position to be successful, but
Facts.
I think being on a older team too. All of y'all was older than me,
Yeah, for
so
sure, for sure.
yeah.
Just
Yeah,
being
so
there, people to
just
live in, teach it for sure.
yeah, just seeing how y'all was like, we've been through this 4 years now, and this our last
Mm-hmm.
go at it. So we gonna give it everything we got every single moment, and then being 19 at the time, about to be 20, I was like, okay,
he was
I got
ready,
no
ready to
option.
go, ready to go.
Yeah, I got no option. I just gotta follow lead. So I was just like, hey, if we gonna do this, we gonna do this. And
Hey,
just I think our
you definitely
chemistry
did it,
just
bro. You
took
definitely
over.
did it. You definitely
You
did
know?
it. And like, obviously, we always talk about, shit. From our group of guys, we all talk about Coach L, what he means to us because he did a lot. Like he really wanted the engine and everything. Like we looked like we was flown out there, but without Coach Ed, it wouldn't be no us. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Think about it. A lot of his work was done in practice off the court where nobody could see. So
For
a lot
sure.
of times y'all see him in the game and he might be sitting or standing still. He might seem like he's not coaching, but he done did his coaching where he
Right.
done prepared us for this game where we're coaching ourselves within this game. All he's
Yep.
doing is guiding us, really. You know what I mean? So that dude's the GOAT, man. But to talk on him, I just want you to talk a little bit about how, what he means to you because, obviously you had him with that whole transition from, George Mason and you transitioning from DePaul. So
Yeah, I mean, Coach L was the first guy at the collegiate level to believe in me. So, he was my very first offer at George Mason, first guy to give me a college scholarship. And he was even when he had somebody else commit, he stayed in contact with me. He always like, if you ever need anything, you can always reach out. And he's a guy that really believed in who I was, regardless if he had the opportunity to coach me or not. And then, having the opportunity to go play for him and him knowing who I was because he heavily recruited me, he kind of just, gave me a platform very early on to just go out there and be who I was. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially in college, to be able to show who you really are. You just got to go somewhere the coach really believes in you. So lucky enough, they had a spot for me down in Miami, and the rest is what it is. So.
Fact. So, as we all know, you had a crazy sophomore year. We all had big games against, North Carolina, the Dukes, all that, showing up in the tournament. I just want you to, talk about that experience because, like playing against Duke and, especially North Carolina with like Braun in the building, D Wade in the building,
Right.
that's major, you know what I mean? So to be in a position where we was able to play in front of people like that. Let's talk about that.
I mean, I think all of us felt how much excitement we started building from the beginning of my sophomore year. You was out the first couple of games, because of that whole BS that happened. We were missing a couple of guys, and then we had a couple of preseason tournaments or whatever. But really, when we got to ACC play, is when we really turned it on. We started winning games, and then you just saw. The crowd, you started seeing the students show up. You started seeing like that atmosphere that we had started building down there. And then, it wasn't like you said, it wasn't really one person. Like, I don't think it was
really
one person
was.
on that team. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was it wasn't no diaper dandies. It wasn't none of that. It was just 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys. We had 8 guys that just bought in. And we were just like, we're going to do this together. It's going to be your night sometimes. It's going to be my night sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be Trey, Ryan, Jules, Reg. It could be anybody. And I think we all just really bought into it, and people really enjoyed that. And then that's when you saw the game started being crazy. Braun and Wade started pulling up. Jimmy Graham came to a game. So, you know what I'm saying? I think just everybody seeing a team come together like that for the first time, and at least in ACC play, and for us to be winning the way we was, I think it was just – a very exciting time down there in Miami.
Yeah, in fact, that was definitely a special year. I'd probably say the best, year of basketball for me as far as like enjoying the sport and this is what I played my entire life for, to enjoy moments like this, amongst guys that all want the same thing you want, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter who get the accolades, let's get it. We all out, you feel what I'm trying to say? So I really enjoyed that, especially being in the backcourt with you, like shit, even little shit like that, I'm watching this game right now, like these highlighted sneakers, like they wasn't doing what we was doing. Like that was us right there. Like that was us. That's big time, bro. That's big time. Yeah, and shout out to what's it called, Overseas Fits too, man. They give me a shout out with them kicks too, man. Shout out to them. Hopefully they can get Shane up on there too, man. That would be dope. But to move on a little forward to we're gonna talk about a little about Sweet 16 because I feel like during that time it was also a lot of things that people don't know that happened behind the scenes, especially that game. Because you know that was the year that everybody expected us to take it pretty much. You know, I mean, it was a special year. So kind of just give you a little breakdown of that year or that game specifically, the Sweet 16 game.
I mean, everybody saw how we were damn near dominating that season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had a couple flips ups here and there on the
We took
road, but for
everything:
the
regular
most part,
season, ACC
yeah.
tournament. Like, what did we take?
And we the only team to win the ACC regular season and tournament and not get a 1 seed. But I ain't gonna say nothing about it.
That was crazy. We was definitely supposed to be in that 1 seed. They jerked us.
Hey, it is what it is. We ain't gonna say nothing about it. But you know, we kind of handled our first 2 games. Our second game, round of 32 game, was a little. You know, it was a little battle with Illinois, but we pulled it out.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan. You know, he was
yeah,
on here
big shot. Big shot, Ryan, for sure.
Ryan, that game,
well, that's what I'm saying. That team, everybody just had their days, bro.
Anybody
like,
can shot at any given moment.
Yeah, facts.
Just like that,
facts.
Said, bro.
Facts. But, you know, going into that Sweet 16 game, it was so much, you know, I think we were heavily favored in that game. Mm-hmm. But, you know, just so many things that went wrong that day. You know, I had food poisoning that night.
Julian just came off of it.
Yeah. Jules we had another guy off of it. Reg, something wrong with Reg's knee. Right?
Yeah, Reg had tossed him in his knee. He had to get surgery, remember?
Something wrong with your hand or something.
He would have been ready for the next game.
For sure.
It was the practice before the game. Tanya got the rebound, hit me in my tooth, knocked my tooth out.
That's what it was, your tooth.
I had to run to the dentist, get emergency surgery shit.
Facts.
My teeth. So it was just like so much going on.
Yeah.
For me,
for sure.
For me, with all that going on, for me, like our biggest, you know, thing that hurts the most, I feel was Reg, because I feel like they had a big dude on that team at that time that gave us
destroyed us.
Yeah. You feel me? I feel like Reg would have been a perfect person at that time because you know those guys. He was big like Reg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was more mobilized. He could block shots and get around stuff, but. Our team had so many tools, bro. We just needed Reg at that time, but you know, we was unstoppable, bro. We was definitely unstoppable at that time, man. But
that's what our team was about. We always had a counter for whatever somebody was doing to us. Even in the ACC championship game, Carolina tried to go super small.
Mm-hmm. They always try to change shit for us, yep.
Right. They tried to change it because we were so dominant with Kenny at the 4, 6'10", shooting it, stretching the floor. They tried to just spread us all the way out. So then they went with that lineup. Then that's why our team was so good. We had a way to match them. Then we put Ryan or Trey at the 4. And then we was just, you know, small ball out there the same way the other team was. So I think, you know, not having Reg that game to counteract, you know, that other big guy definitely hurt us. But, I mean, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah. You tell that shit just hurt just now. Like, damn, I'm just thinking about like, I'm sick.
Facts.
I feel you. But, you know, so, you know, now after – you know, an amazing season, you know, you get drafted, number 18, you go, you know, get drafted by Atlanta Hawks, you immediately get traded to the Mavs. You know, that's a dream come true, you know, and for sure, a guy like you, you know, everything you went through, I sure you didn't see, even if you seen yourself in the NBA, I'm positive, did you see yourself, did you see it happening that fast, you gotta say?
I mean, bro, to be honest, nah, I'm gonna be dead ass on. Like, nah, I didn't. I wasn't a top 100 kid. Going into my sophomore year, I wasn't on no kind of draft, nothing. So, you know, everything, and I owe it all to that team, bro. Like, that team, the way we came together, the way that, you know, the coaches, trainers, even from Crumples, changing my body from being like a little-ass kid to be having like a man body, bro. Like, everything.
You both no pics until Crumples got you right.
Facts.
He outside.
Facts, bro. Facts. Like, every single person that I was in contact with during that 2 years had some type of impact on my journey and helped me get to where I got to. From on the court, off the court, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been able to do none of that because I wasn't one of those chosen kids from AAU that was just going to make it. You know what I'm saying? So everything kind of had to line up for me. And, you know, God wouldn't get all did. Yeah.
Sure. So, you know, move forward a little bit, you know, obviously you get drafted. There's some unfortunate news, you know, happened. You know, I think you broke your ankle at this time.
Yeah.
Which I feel like was a tough time for you because, especially for me being a teammate, I'm like, damn, my bro got drafted, and then he just get hurt. Like, you know what I mean? There's so much things to think about what revolves around your head at that time, especially being in that moment for you. I know, like, you were discouraged tremendously. So,
yeah.
just kind of talk about you being in that moment and kind of, you know, gradually helping yourself get out of that moment. You know what I mean? Who was there helping you, you know, with that journey?
I mean, it was definitely tough that year. You know, I broke my ankle 10 days after I got drafted. So
Yep.
you get drafted, you
Supposed to be
feel
the best
like you're
time
on
of your
top of the
life.
world. Yeah, like you feel everything you ever dreamed about, everything coming true. And then, you know, and at the time I was like the only point guard on the roster. We ain't even getting the free agency, all this craziness yet. Then boom, I break my ankle, and then as I broke my ankle, I see like they signed like 4 point guards: Jose Calderon, Monte Ellis, Devin Harris. I'm like, damn. So now I can't even do nothing to try to, you know, guarantee myself
Secure
some
my
minutes.
spot. Yeah.
Right. So I was over there hurt,
Yeah.
and for the first 2 weeks to a month, I was trying to tough it out. I was like, I don't need nobody here. I'm 20 at the time. I'm like, I don't need nobody here. I'm grown now. I don't need nobody. But eventually, you know, all them demons start you know, creeping in. And then my mom came out there, my best friend came out there, and they stayed with me for a couple months until I at least was out of like my crutches, out of my walking boot, and then, you know, slowly but surely being able to work out again, being able to play, being able to practice, I was able to climb myself out of that negative play.
So all in all, you would say that was definitely for you a learning process where, you know, learned a few things, something like patience and like, you know, things like that, just to move forward and just kind of keep your confidence up going forward.
For
So shout
sure.
out to Mom Duke for sure. You know, she been there from the jump. So
Definitely,
you know, she would go. But you know, so you know, you stuck to a few teams in the league. You know, like I said, then you play with the Knicks, you play with Brooklyn for a little bit. You know, these are all Premier Leagues. I mean, teams that you play with. So you know, when you make that decision to go overseas, like, what was that thought process? Because you then decide to go to Basconia after that.
Yeah.
So like, you know, what was that thought making the decision to go overseas?
So I was sitting there. It was my third year in the league. I was coming off of a solid year. I averaged, I think, 7.5 points, 4.5 assists in like 20 minutes. I had decent stats, decent numbers across the board. And I actually had a player option that summer to go back to Brooklyn. But, you know, taking bad advice, I opted out of my deal thinking I was going to sign, you know, one of those big contracts that, you know, that same summer, Dellavedova just won a championship with Cleveland. And he signed 4 years, like $40 million. And he averaged the same exact, y'all can look it up, the same numbers as me. So I'm like, okay. He just won a championship. He signed for 40. I ain't win no championship, but at least I can get, you know, 10, 15 out here, something like that.
Exactly.
So I opted out of my deal thinking I was going, you know, with the approval of my agent saying it was a good idea. Opted out thinking I was going to sign one of those deals. And then I was sitting there at the end of July, like, damn, I could have been at least in Brooklyn this whole time if I opted in. But, you know, that was a moment of realization. Like, it was either sign one of these like non-guaranteed deals and try to fight my way onto a roster where I know I'm not going to get no burn and be in a very similar situation next season, or, you know, take this trip overseas and go over there and try to kill and then see what happens from there. So that's where I was at.
Okay. Which is the thought process of some guys have, you know what I mean? Some guys fall in a position where they have to go overseas, kill, and try to, you know, regroup on their dreams. So, but, you know, all in all, you know, it all worked out for you. So we ain't shaking that. So, like, so you touch down. It's your first season in Spain. You know, like I said, they greet you with all these signs. Kind of at that time, you're not really used to all that. You know, they got the sauce and all that. Pain. I know you already know they going crazy at the airport. You're like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, what was that like for you? Was that like a culture shock for you, seeing all these things when your first, you know, season overseas?
I mean, yeah. For me, it was different. I really didn't know much about Vitoria, Spain. You know, you think about Spain, you think of Madrid, you think of Barcelona. You don't really think of like the other cities there. So you think everything in Spain is like that.
Yeah, that's how most people think, I believe.
Yeah. So then I landed in this city called Bilbao. Then you got to drive a whole hour to get to Vitoria. So Vitoria don't even have an airport.
Wow.
So I land. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, airport a little small, but I'm like, all right, cool. I get my bags, and then we go outside. And then we get in this van, and I'm like, all right, it's probably gonna be like 10, 15 minutes to the airport. I mean, to the hotel. But we drive for a whole hour, and I'm telling you, between the city I landed and Victoria, ain't nothing but like trees, grass,
That's
mountains.
it.
Like it's out there, bro. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm coming from playing with the Knicks. I'm coming from playing with Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo,
Damn, what
what
I
I
get
get
myself
myself
into.
into? Yeah, I'm like, oh my God. So I pull up, and then you get to the hotel and everybody's there with the scarves and all that.
Yeah.
So that was exciting, but it was definitely a culture shock and like an eye opening, like, oh, this shit is real experience, when I first made the jump, for sure.
Yeah, facts, bro. So obviously, you've been through a little bit of different things that most players might have had. Because, like I said, you did that transition where you went from the NBA to overseas. So it's like it's a lot of things that other players might experience as far as like not getting paid or like
Yeah.
maybe get a BS call, crib, or like actually one thing I also want to harp on too. I feel like it should improve where it's like you're a player, you're somewhere for 9, 10 months, and most of these players on their contract, they have 1 or 2 flights for a family member now. Would
Yeah.
you agree like having 1 or 2 flights is enough for someone being alone in the country for 9 months and only have only have an opportunity to have 2 people to come and visit? I feel like with being a professional player, you would want your family, your friends, more
Yeah.
people to come visit you. I feel like in that department it should improve. What you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely something that needs to be improved on. I think these guys are making business decisions by going and playing basketball overseas in order to make that the career that they want to go with moving forward to provide for their families. And a big reason as to why they over there is to provide for whoever it is they need to provide for. So I think teams should definitely find a way to allow players to have more opportunity to get their family over there, because like you said, that 9, 10 months, depending on where you at, can get real lonely, bro, in
Yeah.
that European game. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that they should try to work on, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And since we're on top, with you playing with Visconti and playing in Spain, it's like give the viewers a little bit outlook of like, what's a little bit different from there than any other country as far as like language, the living, maybe even the food. Like, did you enjoy the food there, like compared to like, food back home? Because your first
Yeah, I
year,
mean,
I'm sure you put ketchup on everything, hot sauce,
yeah,
lather,
for sure. Like, and you was down in Miami, so if you think about Spanish food, you thinking about a whole different kind of food. You think about like rice and beans
yeah,
and
exactly.
you know what I'm saying, like that Latin food. That's Latin
Exactly,
food. Spanish food is a whole completely
different.
different thing, dog. Like the country of Spain, it's like ain't no rice and bean tacos. Like it's not that, bro. It's like a whole
Mm-hmm.
different kind of vibe. And I mean, at first, like I said, I didn't really have much knowledge going out there, so I was expecting like tacos around on the corner of every street. But
Tripping.
it didn't go down that way. And it was definitely a shock at first, but for sure, you find your little restaurant that you're comfortable with. You get your little chicken fingers, you get a little ketchup, some fries. That holds you down until you can find something else. But at
That's a
first, it is
fact. I
definitely
already
a
know.
culture shock.
So then you trying to live your dreams out. You trying to do exactly what you said. As far as going overseas, building your name back up, and trying to make that jump back to the NBA. Which I believe you did. Going back with the Boston Celtics. I think you had some great seasons there, and just talk about playing there because you was playing there with a superb point guard like Kyrie Irving. Was considered top point guards in the world, which is funny now because like knowing he's like top point guard in the NBA and you're a top point guard overseas, it's funny to know that you play behind him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
for sure.
It's crazy to know how many talent
For
to be on
sure.
the NBA team, man. So just talk about a little bit when you was at Boston, just playing with him and that experience.
I mean, Boston in general was a good year because there was so much talent on that team. We had some injuries that season, so I don't even think that team had reached the full potential. That's the year that Gordon Hayward broke his ankle all crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie had multiple injuries that year. He ended the season with his knee injuries. And we had a bunch of guys along the way get hurt. But, you know, that season alone was a very special season because we faced a lot of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And through the adversity, you know, we found a way to, you know, still make it to the conference finals, push Cleveland to Game 7. But I definitely learned a lot that year. I grew a lot as a player that year. I wasn't playing many minutes. I was playing probably 14 minutes a night. I didn't play every night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely a lot of growth for me mentally off the court that season. Just because, you know, being a hooper, bro, if you're not getting burned, it's tough. It's
It's
difficult. It don't
tough. It's
matter.
real tough.
It don't matter where you at. It's tough. If you love the hoop,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not one of those guys that's just happy to say I'm in the NBA, if you really want to compete, you know, it's definitely difficult to be in a situation like that. But that's where you have to grow as a man and just be like, you know, it is what it is. I got to take from this opportunity what I can. So that's why I learned a lot from Kyrie. You know, I ask him questions all the time. I was trying to work out against him all the time just to try to, you know, raise my game. So it was definitely a good year, tough year. But I definitely grew a lot mentally and physically that year for sure.
Now, since you bring that up, that's the question I actually want to know. How was that going up against him in practice? Because I don't know if you know, I played with him at AAU as younger.
Right.
So I got a chance, you know, and I grew up he a New Jersey kid.
Right.
So me knowing his game and knows how competitive he is, and then I actually got an opportunity to play with you and know how competitive you are. So that's actually a matchup I would love to see because, you know, you got stuff that people can't teach with from quickness to athleticism, and you put that together with, you know, your skills and your heart. That's tough to beat. Even if you're the best player in the world, that's tough. Because I always go with, you feel me, the person that works hard over talent any day. So I know that matchup in practice with you and Kyrie when y'all had the opportunity was crazy.
Yeah, I mean that training camp because that's when you really go at it in the league. Like during the season, a lot of teams, you know, and there's not really no opportunities to really go at each other unless you're like in a bad stretch. But for the most part, you know, preseason training camp, that's when you really go at each other. And you know, I was one of the most competitive training camps I had ever been a part of. And I think Kyrie, you know, coming in there as a new guy, fresh off a trade, myself coming in there as a new guy, fresh off of, you know, signing free agency, we were both trying to, you know, earn our respects to our teammates. And, you know, then you got guys like Marcus Smart who not going back down. Terry Rozier, you know, you see what he's done whenever he had opportunity. So I think everybody that year from training camp through the end of the year, playing ones after practice, shooting competitions, you know, I think we all pushed each other that season. And, I mean, if you look at that roster, everybody from that roster has pretty much gotten in a better situation years down the line. So I think we all definitely helped each other improve that year mentally as players too. And it was definitely a dope season.
Now this is something also I want to talk about because this is something I take pride in, and I also want to know because, you know, somebody like Marcus Smart was a defensive guy, and, you know, for playing defense. So me, like I said, I take pride in my defense. So I always ask people like, yo, am I one of the toughest defenders have you ever came across? I always like to ask people that because I want to make sure I always left my mark on somebody whether it's positive or negative, where it impacted their life to become better in whatever sport they played or whatever they did in life.
For sure.
For me, it's like, was I one of the toughest defenders you ever came across as far as practice? Because I know you went, like I said, you went up against Marcus Smart, so I know that's probably like.
I mean, a lot of defense is just mental, bro. You know, you just gotta be a dog in your head to be able to defend.
Yo, hold on, Shay, chill out. Stop giving out the secret to defense, bro. You can't give out the secret. Chill out.
I feel you. But yeah, I think, you know, it really comes down to how much you want it, bro. And you was always a guy that it didn't matter what was going on. It could be practice, it could be ones, it could be pickup, it could be whatever. You was ready to compete. So for sure, definitely going against you in practice when I was young. I was 17, 18, 19 when I got in there. So, you know, coming from Orlando where I was playing against a guy in college every day that had that New York gritty grind mentality to him, that definitely from very early on, it helped me learn to be competitive because I wasn't going back down. I wasn't just going to let nobody punk me. So, you know, very, very early on, you know, you, especially when I first got there, you and Malcolm, both y'all New York guys. So y'all just going at it. And I'm sitting there like, all right, okay, this is what I walked into. So it's either I got to adapt and I got to grow from it, or I can just shy away from it. So definitely, learned a lot very early on. And yeah, yes, for sure, bro. You definitely one of those guys that you definitely feel after you practice or play against you, you definitely feel that your presence was out there for sure, bro.
Facts. I appreciate that. I always be asking niggas that, from time to time, bro, because
For sure, Jay.
that's a part of the game that people take lightly, and I feel like it should, a lot more light should be shed on that. Even though the name of the game is buckets, like my son Barry said. But
Definitely.
so we move on. So now you jump back over. You're not back overseas. You with FS now. You starting to wrap up, right? You know, obviously this is a special team you with now. Like I obviously had to be one of the best decisions you made. What was that like? Is that after experiencing it for the first time with Bisconia, it didn't go so well. You was kind of on the rocks, kind of getting your feet wet and stuff. So like now with them, what made you feel so comfortable? Going according to what you did.
I think at the second time when I made the jump, I wasn't so consumed with the idea of the NBA. Like my whole everything. Yeah, everything was just NBA. So I was putting so much pressure on myself that year in Victoria, even that next year in Boston. Like every single thing I do from on the court to off the court,
NBA.
what I put on Instagram to everything is just I got to do everything picture perfect if I want to get back to the NBA, because that's the only way I'm gonna get back. But then after I made that next jump, when I decided to go back overseas, I really made that decision with the idea that, if I never go back to the league, I'm cool. I've been done there for 4 years now. I went to the conference finals with a team. I played in the playoffs, got meaningful minutes. I had a whole bunch of opportunities and experiences in the league. So now, if I don't go back, it is what it is. I'm just going to make the best out of what I currently got. And I think when I finally lost that, that anxiety, that paranoia about everything, and I just kind of went out there and was who I was again, I think that's when, everybody seen me go back to that potential, go back to being, what up?
Thanks. We got a question up here before we continue. What the question was, what he said,
What's the
best thing you used as a recovery once you became a pro, especially overseas. Now that's important, because especially that's something I would love to talk about too. Because as far as like trainers, I don't know how it is over there with FS, but I'm sure it's at the top of the line. Like you ain't gonna worry about nothing, massages, ice baths, this, that, and the third. Based on the players is healthy enough to be on the court and play at the high level. But then you have teams where they don't have that. They don't have luxury of that. They don't have ice bath. They don't have the Normatec. They don't have massage. Their trainer might not be certified. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they run into situations like that. So just kind of answer his questions, kind of like as players, we got to become our own trainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So kind of talk about that. But I know it's different for you, but kind of talk about that to answer his question.
I've talked to a lot of dudes who've played a lot of different places overseas now, obviously, and it definitely ranges, from the type of squad you're on. Some squads have great training staffs, some squads have terrible training staff. So it really comes down to, you taking care of yourself as much as you can, because, sometimes you don't have that, that outside push telling you to take care of your body. So, it definitely is difficult, but I think as you get older, you start to see the importance of taking care of your body.
For sure. You have no choice. You're trying to stay in the game.
Right. You start feeling things you didn't used to feel before. You start feeling that age creep up on you, those miles, that punishment you put on your body. So, it's definitely, you got to eat right. You got to ice bath. You got to do all these things. Even if your trainer's not forcing you to do them, there's definitely things that you could do, that you have to do in order to stay, physically ready to compete overseas.
How many times you went back and was like, damn, I wish I used to listen to West when I was in the weight room?
Man,
bro,
every time I stand up, I say that shit.
Every season I find myself saying like, damn, I wish I did what West told me to do. But that's important for you college dudes, man. PE, man, that's important, bro. Staying in the weight room makes you strong, you're healthy, you're eating right, all those things, bro. They put that in place for you to succeed. They give it to you early for you to get to the next level. You know what I mean? We always talk about like, yeah. But us, playing at the level now, we looking at like, damn.
Right.
We should have did it. You feel what I'm trying to say? We could have added 5 more years. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So, man, I know that was dope. But like, back to Ephesus now. I just want to give the people a little bit outlook of this organization, that city, a little bit. Let's talk about coach, because I feel like a lot of people outside of Europe got this image of coaches overseas just being crazy. That they don't know how to coach, they're nutty. But the reality is, all people over there that know the game, they come over here and study the game. Learn from the greats, the Phil Jacksons, and all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? So I just want to talk about that and talk about your coaching. How did he help you to have the season you had?
I mean, my coach is very, very similar to an NBA style coach. He's been coaching for a long time, and he's, a lot of players. In regards to if you're in the NBA, if you're in the G League, D League, WNBA, it don't matter where you're playing. If you can play for a coach that knows how to put you in position to be successful or let you go be successful the best way that you can, that's one of the most important things. And my coach at FS kind of is like, his main thing he always says is play to your potential. And when you hear that as a player, it gives you all the confidence to go out there and do the things that you drill and work on for hours and hours and hours and hours. So, my first year in Spain overseas, it was solid. The guy just allowed me to play however I wanted to play, but I was still trying to figure out who exactly I needed and wanted to be. But then this next opportunity at FS, he just always told me, be who you are, play to your potential. I'm not going to ever tell you not to take a shot. Just be who you are. Just make sure you defend and play hard with all the energy you got. And, when he gave me that platform, it's kind of like, you going to take it and do what you do with it, or you going to shy away from it? And, I took it and did what I did with it. And I think without him having that mentality, what I'm saying, I wouldn't have been able to have that success.
Yeah, you definitely took it and went crazy for sure. So like even me just watching it, kind of just looking at a couple of accolades you got during the season, it's like I was just scrolling through YouTube. I'm like, yo, MVP every round, MVP I'm like, bro, then you get MVP, bro. I'm like, my bro was wild out there, go crazy. So like, kind of take me through that, where it's like, where just every round just kept giving you confidence. Like, yo, they can't call me, like just, or was it just like, obviously, always a team game, and shout out to a couple of guys you played with that, I played against, on the circuit, played in Italy, but while you in that moment, just talk a little bit about like what was going through your mind, like.
I mean, at that time, when you in EuroLeague and you win the weekly MVP, it's already like people hold that as like as an honor over there. It's like a huge honor to be the weekly MVP. You know what I'm saying? And then you win 2 in a row, and everybody like starts talking about you differently. Then you win 3, then you win 4, and it's like I was in uncharted territories where nobody had ever done stuff like this before. And my mindset, I mean, off the court is one thing. Obviously, you walking around with different confidence. You enjoying the city. You getting recognized in the city on a different type of level. But, on the court, you just start feeling like, what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter who's on the other side of this ball. Whoever over there is going to get fried. And that's the kind of mentality I had going into every game. And it almost got to a point where, I just felt like, I was in complete control of my surroundings. Like, every single thing I did, like, from defense, offense, I was just reading the game so well. My teammates was just putting me in so many successful positions that, I just felt like I was on another level. And, that's, I think, a big reason as to why I played the way that I had, for sure. Just the confidence.
For sure. So what would you say, like, especially during that season, what was, like, the biggest difference maker? Like, did you have something to prove? Like, what was different from this past season than any other season, I'll say?
I was in a situation where my teammates and my coaches and everybody around me just was 100% ready to ride with me. Whatever I was doing, I could shoot 45 times and miss 45 times. The next time down the court, they were going to look for me. They were going to support me. From everybody in the gym, the arena, the city, everybody just really believed in me. And I just felt like no matter what I did, basketball is basketball. At the end of the day, you're going to play good or you're not going to play good. You're going to make a shot, you're going to miss a shot. So at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing for me is like I just stopped caring. I was just like,
Mhm.
look, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna play. If I make mistakes, I make mistakes, but I'm not gonna go out here and leave any type of energy, any type of nothing on this court. And
Mhm.
I think when I got to that level, you know, I found a rhythm, and then you know, just my teammates put me in position to be successful, my coaches, and then just having that mentality of, you know, it really don't matter no more. I'm just gonna go out here and hoop, and whatever happens, happens. I think
Now I
having
really
that
do.
mentality just allowed me to free myself of my mind, and just go play to my full potential. And you know, that's
Is that if
that.
did they tell you the same thing night before you had 49?
Nah, the night before I had 49, bro, I was mad. I was mad as hell.
You was tight. Okay, what you was upset? Let people know what you was upset
Dog.
at.
So I was first in the league in scoring. I was first
Okay.
in the league in PIR, and they came
Okay.
out with an MVP ladder, and I was like
And they
sixth on the
jerked you.
ladder. I was like, how? How? This don't make no sense. So that should just piss me off, and I was like, all right, but then that night,
No,
not to have
yo, cause
50,
like
I was like,
me watching that video, I'm like, yo, Shayla, like he go crazy. I'm like, I know he having fun, bro. But then like now
yeah,
you
for
telling me
sure,
this, nah, that was a
for
different
sure,
type of fun. That was
yeah,
like you hitting a shot, your veins is feeling
yeah,
different. Like you just in a whole different solar system.
yeah,
Man, listen, you gotta be a ball player to know that. I already know what
fact,
type of feeling you had, and that was just a legendary night, bro. For real, for
fact.
real. That was definitely legendary. That was the most points you ever
Appreciate it.
had in your life, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's dope, bro. That definitely gotta go down
appreciate
for
it.
the record. That was big time, man. So, you know, as you kind of come to a conclusion, you know, like I was saying earlier, I want to talk about a little bit about like what you think will happen next season, as far as like, you know, all the coronavirus going on and stuff like that, you know, because I feel like, you know, a lot of teams gonna take this opportunity to lowball a lot of
Yeah,
players. You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
And it's gonna suck, but you know, it's just the way things is working right now. But like, I just want you to kind of give your input on that, and you know, kind of chirp on that before become a speculation, because it will be when it's time to open back up.
Yeah. I mean, I think coronavirus is definitely gonna have a big impact on salary caps around the world. I even think it's gonna impact the NBA some, because a lot
Yeah,
of
for
people
sure.
lost
Mm-hmm.
a lot with missing all these games. So I think next year is gonna be a very interesting year in Europe, especially because, you know, I think a lot of teams are going to sign guys to like monthly deals. I don't think
Yeah.
many guys are going to sign year-long deals. I think guys are going to sign for like months at a time, like 2 months here. And if you're not producing the way we want you to,
Got to
boom,
go.
we going
And
to get
see, like
you out of here.
yeah. And if
Go
it's
ahead.
in a predicament like this, I feel like as players, we should try to get ahead of that with our agents.
Yeah,
Where if find out what's going on, and if this is
for
the
sure.
plan for next year, where they're signing 1 to 2 months deals. As a player, you need to know right now, like, yo, agent,
Right,
if they're signing 1 to 2 month deals, we gotta come to someone in our contract where this is guaranteed, that's guaranteed, or because
facts.
it gets tricky overseas, man. This ain't the league. This ain't what you sign that dotted line. You get it. You
Right.
sign for.
They'll find a way not
You
to
can
give you that bread overseas.
they can find a way, whether it's from is the coach having an argument with you in
Right.
practice, and
Yeah.
that shit could have been premeditated too.
Yeah. Right.
But it gets crazy over there, man. So uh,
Facts.
it's wild. But so move on a little bit. I want to talk about a little bit about like as far as like the market and like because a lot of people don't understand it's levels to overseas. Like people just
Yeah.
think when you overseas, like, oh yeah, he overseas, he making bread.
Right.
Like I got a buddy who's playing, second division. He, come to me for advice how to manage his money, because he got family thinking he overseas making some type of bread, but he really not. He over there trying
Right.
to grind out to make it to a higher league. You know what I'm
Right.
trying to say?
Right.
So, I want you to kind of just talk about the market. Like, there's levels to it. Like, have people understand where it's like, you have the players that are just grinding through the mud, and you got the
Yeah.
ones, that's trying to get to the top. So, kind of talk
Yeah, I
about that.
mean, Europe is, when somebody say they play basketball overseas, I mean, that's just a broad statement, because you have different countries and you have different levels in each country. Some countries have domestic leagues that have 3 levels in themselves. And then you have international competition that's like EuroLeague, Euro Cup, Champions League, FIBA. So, you know, there's a lot of different levels that you can play overseas. And you know, it don't. The good thing about overseas is though everybody's always watching you. You could have one good season in Finland and then be on a team in Italy. Then you can take your level to a team in Spain,
Facts.
and then
Facts.
you know you rise like that. And if you ask a lot of these guys that are at the EuroLeague level now, a lot of them be like, yeah, I didn't get my first opportunity to be in Champions League till I was 30, and then they make it to EuroLeague at 32, 33, and then
Facts.
they playing until 37 because they just enjoying
Facts. And
it
let me
like
ask you
that.
this:
So
like, what you telling me right now? When did you learn that? You didn't learn that till you got there, did you?
yeah, definitely. I didn't know about any of that until I first got
Exactly.
overseas.
And this is why I'm trying to create
Yeah,
for reasons like this, man. Because like we going through it, so we just trying to
right.
be able to get this information for people making the same transition like us. You know what I mean? So they won't
Yeah,
make the same mistakes, man. So that's dope. That's definitely a good good point to harp on, man.
for sure.
But Shane, we appreciate you coming up here, man, showing love, bro.
No
It's always
problem,
good
bro.
when I speak to my bro for real. But before you
Yeah,
go,
you
bro, I just
know.
want you to give some advice to somebody who's making that transition, from college to overseas, whether it's from, just doubting or just scared to go, or, some people just like got a lot of obligations home and just can't make that transition.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
kind of just give advice or give them one thing you think they should do, while they're making that transition.
I would say, I mean, the biggest thing that you have to understand is if you're gonna make that jump overseas is you have to really love that ball. You have to love. You gotta love the hoop. Like
I love that.
if you think you're gonna go overseas and live this lavish lifestyle off the dribble, I mean it's
Nah.
not gonna be like that.
I
You're
call it
gonna
I
be in
call it a
some
bid. I call it a bid. It's like it's low key
yeah,
jail.
yeah.
It's like you do what you love, but you in jail.
Fact. That's why you gotta love that ball because that's gonna be what keeps you sane over there. It's gonna be you're not gonna be able to talk to a lot of people outside of the team.
Facts.
You might end up in a bad city, bad situation. You're not gonna have nowhere to go party. You're not gonna be able to go to watch movies. Like you're gonna be really confined to practice and at the crib. So if you really think basketball is what you want to do with your life, if you really think that, you know what I'm saying, this is how you want to provide for your family, just know that you might have to take a couple steps back before it starts showing some progress.
Facts.
But
Yep.
if you go over there and you grind and you commit yourself, you can find yourself, and you don't got to make it to the EuroLeague, Euro Cup, Champions League to be successful and, you know what I'm saying, and make a living over there. I know a guy from where I'm from in Orlando, bro, that made 100,000 every year, but he been playing overseas for 10 years. And now, you know what I'm saying, he good, he's
He
straight, he
good. He
living
chilling.
great. He
He
great,
chilling.
living great. And getting to that 100,000 is a journey as well because there's
Exactly.
so many different places. But he put his nose in. He started making 35. So that just said you put your nose in the ground and you grind and you don't look up until you start feeling that success. You
That's
can
a
make a good
fact.
living for yourself, but you got to be committed. You can't be in and out. You got to be all in. You got to go through the struggles, and you know what I'm saying. If you commit to it and you commit and work your ass off, you gonna be able to make a living out of it for sure. So
Facts.
that's what I
Facts.
would say, dog.
Facts. Now, before we really let you go, I definitely can't let you go without asking this because you definitely had such a great season overseas. A lot of people had speculations and concerns, trying to wonder what is Shane Larkin's gonna do next. You know what I mean? So obviously, everybody dreams of playing NBA. You explained that earlier. Now, if you had that opportunity, is that something you would have thought about? You thought
Yeah, I
about?
mean, the NBA is the goal, bro. To be able to do what I'm doing right now in Europe is what I believe, given the right space, right platform, right opportunity, I could do that in the league. And that's
Facts.
the kind of confidence I got. So it don't gotta be somebody offering me 30 minutes a night, being able to wild out and do whatever I want. But it just gotta be a team that, believes in who I am as a player and gives me that platform and says, all right, we're gonna buy into you. We're gonna give you a real role, real responsibility, and you do with it what you want to do with it. And then the ball's in my court. If I can find a
Facts.
team that gives me that opportunity and allows me to make the best of it or fuck it up, then that's all that I'm
Yeah.
looking for. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
Facts.
And if I can
I
get
believe
that in
you
the
earned
league,
it though.
huh?
And I said I believe you earned it, man. Like you said, man,
Yeah,
before you was in a position where you had to kind of play the narrow game and do everything correctly, kind of
right,
get back on the path. So you were kind of playing their game,
right.
and you kind of sat back, viewed it, noticed what you had to do, went back out, grind, and now you're in a position where the ball's back in your court, and now they playing your game. So they gotta come to your door, ring your door,
Exactly.
bring it in.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? This, like, yo, this episode is crazy, yo. I appreciate you, Shane, because, like, it's so much information he's giving tonight that could be used for so many basketball players, bro. And I hope this, this word could, spread and a lot of people get some knowledge of it, because a lot of people have been in this position and not know what to do or not know who to ask or where to go. So, man, yo, Shane, I appreciate you, bro. Before you go, we're gonna end it with this highlight. You scoring 49 points, because we know you got so you showing love. But congrats on the season you had. Congrats on being MVP, man. That's big. You really
appreciate
MVP,
you, dog.
man. This is it right here, bro. And this is right here, bro. First interview, you have it right here on International Grind, man. This is big, man. This is my brother right here. And this means a lot, man. It's for the culture, bro. So continue to do, man. It was always love. One. For sure, bro. Yeah. Yo. We definitely had a good one, man. Appreciate you, Shane. Let me turn these comments off real quick. Shane, man, yo, I appreciate you, bro. That was definitely a good one, man. I felt the electricity in the conversation. I love that, man. We got to touch on a lot of topics from the young age all the way up to high school, to college, which I enjoyed too. With time due, I could have really kept Shane up there for 2 hours, but I wasn't trying to, because, you got things you want to do too, because, you live in life. But Shane, superb guy, well down to earth, and he's earned everything he's gotten today, bro. Trust me. Like, I don't say that about a lot of people. Like, I'm an observer, and about 2 years with Shane, I observed a lot, and once I knew he had that opportunity to get to the next level, I knew the sky was the limit. He just proved it, man. Like he said, man, now I'm going back in this court, bro. This episode was called Championship, yeah, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, the last part of the show where we do the cash prize giveaway. We're going to pin the rules. Listen, man, it's important that no one puts the answer in the comments. Please do not put the answer in the comments, because you're allowing somebody else to get on live and read and say the answer. So once I ask you the question, I would then give you a chance to tap in with me. As you see right here, send a wave, tap in with me, provide your answer correct, you'll be awarded. So let's get it, man. It's gonna be a goodie. Turn the music up, man. Let's get it rocking in here, man, before we get this party started. Let's talk about it. So the 2 questions are, first question, where's Mario Chalmers originally from? Where is Mario Chalmers originally from? That's the first question. Second question, what team drafted Shane Larkin? What team drafted Shane Larkin? I'll give you 2 questions again. First question, where is Mario Chalmers from? Second question, what was Shane Larkin? What team drafted Shane Larkin? I see a wave here. We're going to tap you in. Let's get it going. This might tapped in. Then they got the answer. You got to send a wave. The first wave I see is effortful training. That's the first wave I see. So I'm going in order.
Yeah, hold on.
Yo, what's going on?
What's good, bro?
I
don't know the actual town.
2 questions, right?
I don't know the actual town, but I know Chalmers from Alaska.
Okay, you said Mario's from Alaska.
Yeah.
The second question was, what team drafted Shane Larkin?
It was the Knicks, right?
Knicks? I'm sorry, bro, you incorrect, man. It was not the Knicks, bro.
Facts.
Man, listen, man, yo, I appreciate you still, man, because this opportunity is a show where we just give it back. We try to have all the audience a chance to, be a winner, man. I appreciate you coming in and tapping in, man. If we don't get no winner, we definitely gonna hold you down, but we want to continue to see if we get a winner. So stay tuned, and hopefully, we can tap you back in.
Appreciate it.
All right, but everybody, but everybody, we have 19, 18, 17, 16, 15 the seconds running down. I'm going to log right back off, and I need y'all to log right back on. Let me see who the first hand on here I see. Next hand I see Senji, then I see Crash, then I see Up on